Well, hi everybody. So I'm here today in FlyingIron Spitfire. We're going to have a look at the latest update that came out for it, which would be on January 27th, I think. So this will be update 1.3. We'll just kind of hop in the cockpit, go over a couple of things, take it off, go fly it around for a minute, have a little bit of fun flying it around. And that'll pretty much be it for today. Now, a slight disclaimer is that this is my livery. You do not get any new liveries with the update. So don't expect any new liveries. This is mine. Now I am going to put the link to the changelog down in the description, or I'm going to put the whole changelog down there. I'm not quite sure which one yet. It is kind of a long one, so we'll see what happens here. But either way, there'll either be a link or the full changelog. So let's go ahead and get started here. Alrighty. Well, this is quite a large update for the Spitfire. The short version of it is it pretty much brings everything up to the level of the P-38 or the Hellcat, maybe a little bit beyond that. There's a couple of things on here that the other ones don't have. Now, if you bought this through the marketplace, you're probably looking at a couple weeks before you get this one. But either way, at least it's something to look forward to. Now, as far as what's kind of changed here in the cockpit, we can toggle the cannons on and off if we want. I think that's kind of nice. I have a couple liveries for this thing that are from Mark 1s and 2s. And it's kind of nice to be able to turn that off because it makes them look a little bit better. The other thing is the exterior lights have been fixed, so you can actually turn them off if you want. Before, the switch worked, but the lights themselves wouldn't actually get turned off. And the gear shade, I'm going to be honest, I don't remember this actually being here. So either this has been here and I never noticed it, or it's new. I'm not sure which one, but either way, that exists now. And so the other thing is they've pretty much upgraded the tablet. So the new click point for it is going to be up here on the right side of the cockpit. And it kind of moves the location of the tablet here to a slightly nicer position. You can see the GPS and everything like that while this is on. They have fixed the autopilot as well. So there for a little while, you weren't able to adjust the altitude when this thing is engaged, but now you can, so it's been fixed. The workshop page has been added, and we've got the settings page now. They've also changed the GPS unit, so it's a little bit larger. The display is a little bit bigger. It's a little bit easier to read, but other than that, it's pretty much the same. The only downside of this might be that the click point for swapping them used to be kind of up here, but it doesn't seem to work anymore, so the only way to swap them out is going to be here in the tablet with this toggle right here. The rest of this is pretty much cosmetic with the exception of simplified ground handling, which does add the free caster tail wheel to the Spitfire, which is quite nice. Now, if you don't have rudder pedals, you might want to turn this on. If you do, probably want to leave it off. If you don't really want to deal with the free caster tail wheel, you can, if you have rudder pedals, you can go ahead and turn this on anyway. It'll kind of function like it did before. Not exactly, but it's pretty close. And then they increased the aileron trim to this thing to 25%. Now, the reason they did this is because with the changes and tweaks to the flight model, the Spitfire rolls a lot more to the left. So this 25% is set up for cruising speed, or for what they say is cruising speed. I tend to fly this thing closer to 300 miles an hour, maybe 310. And for me, this is a little bit too much trim, and it actually makes the plane roll to the right. So the faster you get going in this thing with aileron trim at 25%, the more it's actually going to roll to the right. I'm going to go ahead and set it up to 0, because that way we can see it actually roll. And that is pretty much it here for the tablet. Now again, there have been some improvements to the flight model. They added in the computational fluid dynamics, I think, that we got with Sim Update, or the 40th anniversary update. They've done a few tweaks to, yaw, pitch, and roll and everything like that, and the ground handling has been tweaked. There are a whole bunch of little tweaks to the flight model and ground handling and everything like that. It really does improve the Spitfire quite a bit. And a lot of the upgrades, though, I will say, have been in the sound effects. And so we're going to go ahead and get this thing started. Now, I'm a little bit worried that some of the more subtle sound effects might not come through in the recording. I tend to only notice them when I have my headphones on. But either way, they are there, and it does make everything sound a lot better. And the startup sound effect is greatly improved. Now, they have added a few animations to it, so it's going to shake a little bit here once we actually get it going. But as far as the startup procedure goes, nothing has changed. It's pretty much exactly the same. Alrighty. one of the other things they have added in here is that we can now brake the propeller. So I'm going to demonstrate that as soon as we get out here to the grass. And there we go. We brought the propeller. Now, I prefer how they've done this. If you do break the propeller, you don't have to restart it. We pretty much just have to click on one of the blades, and it will go ahead and repair the propeller for us. And we can go ahead and start it back up again. Alrighty. Well, let's go ahead and get this thing off the ground. Alrighty, now I'm sitting pretty heavily over on the right side of the stick to keep this thing level. I'm just going to go ahead and return it to the center and we can watch it just start to roll here. Now, as far as I know, that is pretty accurate to how the Spitfire is. Maybe not in terms of how much it rolls, but it is a plane that does roll to the left quite a bit. So we're going to head out here to Stonehenge because it's really about a minute and a half away from where we are right now, and that'll give us a chance to fly the Spitfire around a little bit, listen to some of the new sounds, everything like that. Now, one of the changes to the flight model has caused the Spitfire to really like to climb, which again, as far as I know, is pretty accurate on the Spitfire. It's probably going to require you to trim the nose down quite a bit to keep it level now, especially as your speed increases. Now, a lot of the little sound effects that they have added in here are pretty subtle. Again, I do hope they come through the recording, but I'm not entirely sure. The only downside that I have noticed to this is the exterior wind sound effect is quite loud. It ends up kind of drowning out the motor and everything like that. So we're going to hop outside the cockpit here real quick and listen to that. Now, the only real downside that I didn't notice to it, aside from being a little bit loud, is that the other night I was flying around with a couple other Spitfires, and really, when they were next to me, all I really heard was the wind sound effect instead of the sound from their engine. So I'm not sure how I feel about that one, but either way, all the sound effects here in the cockpit are greatly improved. Everything has kind of a neat sound of it. A lot of little reverberations, and the wind sound effect again has been improved in here. You're going to hear things, creak and groan as you put stress on the airframe and all that. So it's kind of nice, to be honest. Well, that down there is Stonehenge, so we'll have a look at that. Just kind of generally flying the Spitfire around here for a minute. little difficult to see at like 300 miles an hour. All right, well, let's see how it stalls. About the same. It changed too much. Alrighty, well, that's pretty much it. Again, if you bought this through the marketplace, you're probably going to look at like a couple weeks here before this comes to the marketplace. But either way, it's a pretty good little update. I've thoroughly been enjoying the Spitfire, and if you haven't flown it in a while, it's definitely worth having a look at again. I'm going to be flying it quite a bit here lately. Well, either way, that's pretty much it. So I guess really the only thing I have to look forward to now is the measure shed. Not entirely sure when that's going to be released, but yeah, it does look like it's coming along pretty well. So hopefully it's not too long. I think we'll just bring it in here for a landing and go park next to Stonehenge. Alrighty, well, that's pretty much it for today, guys. So thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.